Hi, I'm Mitziette from Multifacet Mom, and I'm Sinwon's wife. Sin and I have been collecting Transformers together for over 15 years. We've had a lot of luck and success over the years finding Transformers in store and online. And through the years, we have kind of honed our skills in knowing when to look and where to look and how to look in order to find figures that we're needing and wanting to help build out our collection. So I thought I would take a few minutes today and go through 9 of our favorite places that we're currently utilizing. If you're already an avid collector, chances are that these are not going to be unfamiliar to you, but I'm hoping there'll be a few gems in there and that there may be some tips or tricks on how to find figures in an efficient and successful way, and maybe even save some money along the way, because if you are a collector, you well know that collecting Transformer figures is not an inexpensive hobby. So with that, let's go ahead and get started, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so let's take a look at our favorite shop right now. Our favorite shop is Hasbropulse. And surprise, surprise, imagine buying Hasbro figures from Hasbro, right? But it hasn't always been that easy. We first started buying Transformers from Hasbro's eBay shop back when they had a shop under eBay. And then they transitioned to their own retail site, Hasbro Toy Shop. And it was pretty good at first. We got some Comic-Con figures and some other exclusives from them. But then they kind of petered off a little bit. And they were pretty inconsistent. They go months at a time without putting anything up. You may or may not find new figures put up. You know, it just wasn't... I kind of like the site lost a little love. But in the past little while, we started noticing that Hasbro had switched over to Hasbropulse not too long after HasLabs introduced, the great big beefy Unicron. And that's kind of when I became aware of Pulse. We started watching it. And then over the last year or so, we've really been happy with it. And they've been doing a great job at putting out figures, putting them up in a timely way, having a great stock. And we've really especially loved this Pulse Premium program that they've started pretty recently, I think just within the last couple months. And or at least that's when we became aware of it anyways. So Pulse Premium is really similar to like an Amazon Prime. It's an annual membership. It's $50 a year, at least in the US. And you get free shipping on your orders. So far, it does specify on all eligible orders. So far, we haven't run into anything that's not eligible. So that's been a super plus. And the other portion that we really love about it, besides saving on shipping costs, which really add up, but we're really loving the early access and kind of the insider information. It doesn't mean that we get information that other people don't ever get. It just most of the time means we're getting it early. So like a lot of times on Friday afternoons, I'll get an email that says, hey, we just put up these figures that are either back in stock or brand new, and you have 3 hours early access, and you can pop in and grab some pre-orders, things like that before they get released out to the general population. So it's been a great way for us to catch some figures that we may not have got easily otherwise. So it's been really awesome. We've really enjoyed it. A couple quick other just kind of perks I will say about Pulse is that they do have a nice pre-order system. If you pre-order and then say you find it in the store, you can pop back in, you can cancel it here. They don't charge you until the pre-order ships. And obviously one other nice thing about Hasbro is that their prices are right in line with, suggested retail pricing. So we've been really happy with that. Their site, just quickly here, has a nice set of filters so you can easily search and find things pretty quickly. And we found a few, some exclusives on their site and a few add-ons. Not too many accessory type things on here. There are a few statues, a few accessories, sometimes a couple t-shirts, things like that. But overall, really the main thing you're going to find here is official Hasbro figures. Obviously no third party, anything of that nature, but by far this has been our go-to site and the one that we're having the best luck with here in the last little while. So if you haven't taken a look at Hasbro again, maybe you shopped at them in the past and had some of the same, luck or not so much luck that we did. But if you haven't checked out Pulse yet, come check them out. They're definitely a great site. Our next favorite shop in line has got to be BigBadToyStore. We've been shopping from BigBadToyStore for a really long time. I think probably around 15 years. And, just kind of shopping on and off through them. But they've definitely been one of our favorite places for figures, I would say in the last 3 or 4 years, probably at least. They have a couple of really nice features that we appreciate from them. One is this $4 flat rate shipping. This is not a promotional thing that they have going on just right now. This is something that they do all the time. So even if you were to order like a Titan class figure or, something really large, there's still the option of that $4 flat rate shipping. So it's a great way to save some shipping costs. It's not the fastest of shipping options maybe out there, but it is for sure, one of the more reasonably priced shipping options. Another thing we really like as far as reasonably priced is the figures themselves. So BigBadToyStore does a really nice job of staying within range of that suggested retail pricing, very similar to what you'd find on Hasbro's site. You might find a little bit of difference. For example, this figure in store might be, $49 if you found him locally, but here he's $53. Or maybe you'll find a Voyager class that you can find in store for $19. Maybe they're $21 on this site, something of that nature. But they're always usually very comparable in price, if not the same as the suggested retail pricing. You can see this Commander class here. He's same as you would find him priced pretty much anywhere else. Another thing we really appreciate from BigBadToyStore is the option that they do sell figures in waves and packs. So you can, here's a Voyager set of 2, here's a deluxe set of 4. You can get the whole wave all at once. You don't have to worry about trying to collect them individually. And it saves on shipping. Shipping is one of the ways where costs really can, add up on figures. So anywhere we can save some on shipping, it really does add up over time, and that's something that we appreciate. One thing that I maybe don't love quite as much about BigBadToyStore is I don't know that their navigation of the site is quite as easy as some of the others. Their filtering options are not as friendly or convenient maybe, and the way they display things, although it's nice to see kind of the bigger pictures, you don't get to see maybe as much in a single view, so there's more scrolling and going to the next page, things like that. But it's a very kind of small nitpick rather than a truly big problem. They do have ways you can come in and see a lot of variety here. So there's a couple different ways to navigate it. You can you can search, you can find what you're looking for. It's not a huge drawback, but it is maybe just kind of one side note. One last thing about BigBadToyStore is they do have other things besides your sort of official Hasbro figures on here. You're going to find some third parties, you're going to find some model kits, some statues, some stages or stands, things of that nature, some accessories. So it's a really nice variety, great stock, just a wonderful store. They've got a great pre-order policy. You can pre-order something, they don't charge you until they ship. And if you maybe find it in store before your pre-order is set to ship, you can hop in and cancel it without any issues. So overall, just one of our favorite places. Great shop. another place that I want to go over is Amazon. Now, I'm sure Amazon is not going to be a surprise to anybody as a place to, watch for Transformers, but there are a few notes that I wanted to call out about Amazon, so I thought it was worth including. One great thing about Amazon is Prime shipping. If you're a member of Amazon Prime, free 2-day shipping on a lot of their figures, and even figures that maybe aren't necessarily Amazon Prime will still have free shipping. It might not be as quick of shipping, but still a free shipping option. So it is a great place to save on shipping. They do have a nice variety of stock, often both in your new figures that are out or those that are pre-orders and coming out. But they also have a lot of older figures you can find on here too. If there's something that you're looking for that you've maybe missed, Amazon is a great place to look for it. Just be aware that if you are purchasing older figures here, chances are they're going to be more expensive, and they're most likely going to be from a third-party seller. So anytime you're purchasing from a third-party seller, always make sure that you take a look at the seller's ratings, look and see what's happened recently with them, read through some of buyer comments, things like that. Just, always be a little bit mindful. But Amazon is great at working with you if something does happen. So, it's a place that we always feel really safe and trusted to buy from. We do really love as well their price guarantee on their pre-orders. So we've had a lot of good luck over the years getting Titan or Commander class off of Amazon. We'll, hop in there, grab a pre-order when it first comes out. And then there's been many times where, one, it comes out quicker than anticipated. So that's always nice. But two, there's that price guarantee on your pre-order. So if the price drops between when it was first posted and when it comes out, you save that money. If sometimes it's refunded, sometimes you just get charged the lower price, but either way you end up getting that better price. So we really like that as well. Their pre-orders are super user friendly. Again, you don't get charged until it ships, and if you need to cancel it, you can go ahead and cancel it without any negative impacts. So really great for there. They do have, a lot of times we've got pre-orders on here that pop up on Amazon is one of the first places we've seen them. So they have early listing, and like I mentioned, a lot of times the shipping on the pre-orders happens, like sometimes as much as a month sooner than anticipated. So a lot of times we've had figures in hand before we start seeing them in stores, or before we really start seeing them online. So Amazon's definitely a great place to pick them up. You're not always going to find everything that's out there. Obviously Amazon sells everything. They're not specialists in Transformers, but that doesn't stop them from having a lot of really great stock and variety. So definitely, if you're not using Amazon to look for your figures, add them to your repertoire. Another site that I wanted to include, even though they don't actually sell any Transformers figures, is Toyhax. And Toyhax is a really amazing site if you want to really make your collection stand out. They sell labels and stages mainly for your figures. To give you a quick preview of some labels, I'll just show off Metroplex. We actually have this set. We had trouble with the original labels on our Metroplex coming off, and so these have been a great replacement. But not only do they replace anything that might have come off, but there's a huge just amount of detail that goes into their labels, so it really sets your figure off. It makes them look really realistic and really detailed, and is just a great way to make your figures really pop. So take a look at those. The labels, they have a huge variety. These are just the categories, and so they have Masterpiece, they have a lot of the different series, both old and new. tons of different things. Their stages are also really great. You can actually see here they have more than just Transformers. They have Turtles, they have Masters of the Universe, G.I. Joe, just some general biomes. So they've got a lot of different variety that you can mix and match in with your Transformers just beyond their Transformer stages. But if you take just a quick look here, they do have mostly, well, they have some Earth and then some Cybertron and just some classic G1 feel and look. Once you hop into the stages, they have a really nice variety in sizes. So if you have just some narrower shelves or you want something more for photographing or filming, they have the floor tiles that match it. The price for the labels and the stages are pretty reasonable for the most part, and they're nice quality when you get them. The one thing I would maybe say when you order from Toyhax is that the shipping can be a little expensive, so we tend to kind of keep an eye on things we want and then, you know, purchase an order with multiple items at once in it, so it distributes that shipping cost a little bit. And you're not paying, you know, $10 for a $2 floor tile. So, you know, just kind of keep that in mind. The other thing I would say is that the processing and shipping can be a little bit slow sometimes. I think they get a big backlog worked up sometimes. And so there've been times we've ordered and it's been, you know, a month or more before we've actually got it. But that's not always the case, and just as long as you kind of are expecting it, you know what to expect, you can be aware of it when you're ordering. So just those two things are maybe the one things I would keep in mind, but otherwise they are a great site with some definite ways to make your collection stand out and really come to life. Now, a place that you may not necessarily think of when you're looking for Transformers figures is Gamestop. And I will tell you, we've only recently started being aware that Gamestop sold Transformers within, I don't know, maybe the last 6 months or so, if even it's been quite that. But we are finding that they have some in person in the store. Now, our local GameStop doesn't have a huge section for them, but if you talk to the folks at the counter, they can print you off a list of everything that they can order and pre-order. So it gives you a great way to support your local smaller businesses and shop locally. And also one more place to look, you know, in your local hometown for figures, especially if you live in a kind of a smaller town like we do and we don't have a lot of retail variety and options. Now, they also have figures online, and we have seen some situations where we've seen figures that are sold out on other sites and are still available on GameStop, and I think it is mainly because you don't really think about GameStop as your default for looking for Transformers. I just don't know that people realize they sell them that much yet. And so they've actually been a place you can find some figures. GameStop does have, I think, free shipping on orders over $35. So if you order a couple figures, you can get free shipping. And that's a nice perk always when you can find it. One thing that you're not going to find on GameStop is any third-party figures. Their stock and variety is a little more limited, but at the same time, they, are more likely to have other Transformer merchandise besides just figures. You can see they've got the vinyl pop, obviously games. I think I've seen some movies on here. Just kind of a variety of things. These lunchboxes, I love that, that old school Transformer lunchbox right there. So it's a place to not discount. Just kind of add it to your mix. Pop over when you're looking for a figure you can't find them anywhere else. I think it's worth a stop at GameStop. another place to keep in your pocket that doesn't exactly scream Transformers is Walgreens. And Walgreens, while at the moment they don't have any figures for sale on their website, does occasionally have figures on their website, especially when they do their exclusives. Walgreens and Transformers tend to do an occasional exclusive. Ratchet tends to be a favorite, and I didn't ever put together why until Sin pointed out to me, hey, Ratchet is a medic, he's a healer, and Walgreens is all about health and wellness. And then once that dinged, and it was like, wow, that really makes a lot of sense. So keep an eye out. Anytime we go into Walgreens, we'll take just a quick jaunt down the toy aisle, and surprisingly, we've had some pretty good luck at Walgreens finding figures. They do tend to have in store, a lot of times I've noticed they have kind of older figures, maybe the last season of Transformers or the last series of Transformers. So occasionally I found something that maybe we didn't catch the first time around, or like I said, you'll find that exclusive figure that they only are selling at Walgreens. So it's just a place to keep a lookout for when you go in person. And once in a while, like I said, you can find some figures on their site. They do have, I think, free shipping for orders $25 or above. So if you find a figure, you pop them in your site, get some other, beauty or wellness items, get your $25 and check out with free shipping. So that's always nice. So again, not a place you're going to think of necessarily as your first go-to for Transformers, but a place just to keep in the mix and to take a look at anytime you're in person. So a site that you may have been surprised hasn't shown up in my list a little higher up the chain is TFSource. Now, TFSource is without question an amazing site. They have an extensive variety of figures. As you can see here, all their different categories: third party, Japanese, Hasbro, vintage, merchandise, just you name it, and TFSource is going to have a listing for it on their site. They have add-ons, they have upgrade kits, really some just spectacular variety. If you're looking for it, they're going to have it on their site. Now, whether you can find it in stock or not is a bit of a different story. I think because they've become so popular and so well known that things often tend to sell out really quickly on their site. They do have really great customer service. I've had to talk to them on the phone a few times, which is, amazing that I can actually talk to somebody on the phone in person. In and of itself, to me, is really great. But there's a couple other things that kind of have knocked TFSource down the list for us. Most of it really is relating to, like I said, things tend to sell out quickly just because they are pretty well known, but also because their price can become a bit of a deterrent. A lot of it stems from their shipping for us. They do have free shipping over $150, and you can add things to a stack similar to BigBadToyStore's pile of loot, very similar programs there. But if you just want to hop on and, order a deluxe or Voyager or even, leader class series toy, you need to plan to expect to pay, another $9 to $15 on shipping for that figure every time. And for us, that just comes, like I said, it has really become a bit of a deterrent. Another thing that we're finding is that sometimes their figures are a bit more expensive. A lot of times even just by $10 more. But when you add on $10 to the cost of the figure and another, $10 to $15 in shipping, we're talking another $20 to $25 more expensive than I might be able to get it somewhere else. So even though we really love a lot of things about TFSource, they've definitely over time become lower on our list of places to look. I definitely recommend browsing them, taking a look, support TFSource. By no means am I saying not to do so, but if you're collecting, I would say there's a lot of other great options out there now where you can find figures for a more reasonable price, more reasonable shipping, and that adds up over time. So for us, that's important and that matters. All right, so the next two places I'm going to talk about are Walmart and Target. And I'm sure you're thinking, all right, Matt, I already know that I can buy Transformers at Walmart and Target. Why are you wasting my time? But I want to just take a few minutes and go over some learnings that we have found about Walmart or Target, maybe some highs and lows about Walmart and Target both. So I thought it was worth including them quickly. One of the main points about purchasing from Walmart is accessibility, meaning that if you live in the U.S., chances are you're pretty close to a Walmart. And if you are like us in our previous location we lived, there was 3 of them nearby, so we could look in person at, not 1, not 2, but 3 different locations if we couldn't find it. And if we wanted to drive a little further, there was even more. So those were just the ones within close proximity. So there's definitely something to be said for being able to actually look in person for a figure. We found that over the years, I've been able to find figures in person, sometimes 1 or 2, even 2 months sooner than I've seen them pop up online. Or maybe we have it pre-ordered, but they show up a lot earlier in person. One thing we have definitely learned about shopping for figures in person, both at Walmart or Target or really any other in-person retailer, is that if you see it and you don't buy it, chances are you're not going to be able to come back and get it later because it's going to be gone. So, Transformers are like Legos. If you see them, get them then, because chances are you're not going to be able to get them later. And so we found that if you befriend the department manager over the toy department, you can often figure out what time of the week what day of the week, that they're going to come in. So like for us, we used to know that at our local Walmart, figures came in on Tuesday mornings, so like you can look on Tuesdays and chances are you're going to have better luck finding it. If you purchase from Walmart's website, they do have free shipping if you are a Walmart Plus member, or I think if you're not a Walmart Plus member, I think there's like a $35 free shipping, or free shipping with orders over $35, something like that. I'm not 100% sure of that price point, but I believe they do have something of that nature. So you find them in person, chances are they're going to be suggested retail price, or at Walmart sometimes even lower. So they're by far one of the more cost-effective places to find figures. But it's kind of hit or miss what you're going to find, right? Like you find it, you see it, you better get it, or it's not going to be there later. I think there's a lot of collectors out there these days that are purchasing. It's not just kids buying the toys. As a matter of fact, a lot of the series, I don't think kids really buy them at all. I think it really is mainly the collectors. So there's a lot of folks looking for them out there. So it's kind of hit or miss whether you're going to find it, but every time we're in the store, we take a look just to see what's in stock. So that's some of our learning, some of the key points about Walmart, and we'll hop on and move to Target. So So the last place we are going to cover, like I mentioned, is Target. And again, this one is not going to be a surprise to anybody. Nobody's going to be shocked that you can go and find a Transformer figure in Target. But there's some things that I want to cover here. On the surface, shopping at Walmart and Target seems very similar for Transformers figures, but there's actually quite a few differences we've found. Target, we've actually been able to find figures that we likely would not have seen anywhere else locally. We got the Rainmaker pack at Target in person, and it just seems like they keep a little more, I don't know, of the high-end type figures or packs at Target that you wouldn't see traditionally at Walmart or at other local retailers. So we do like that about Target. The prices are generally within suggested retail prices. Sometimes Target is a little more expensive than Walmart. I think that's just kind of a generally known fact about Target versus Walmart. But like I said, you can find, maybe the little higher quality type packs at Target. That doesn't mean to say, though, they don't have some sales sometimes on Transformers. You can see the X-Men crossover right here, for example, is on sale for $32, where he originally was $65. So it is unusual to traditionally to find Transformers on sale. We do see that sometimes at Target, so that is nice. If you purchase through their website, they do have, I think, this, they have a program, Circle Plus or Target Plus, I can't remember what they call it, but, where you can get free shipping. They are partnered now with TFSource, so one way you can get some TFSource figures for a more reasonable price is to come through Target, but it, again, is kind of hit or miss whether you're really going to find them or not. So just kind of be mindful when you're shopping from Target if you're really getting it from TFSource or you're really getting it from Target. One other thing that I would maybe say about Target is that we really dislike their, I don't know, gimmicky exclusives. Red Wing was a really great example of that, where you could only get in with your, if you were a Circle Card member. And I really didn't want to open up a credit card or, a banking card, a debit card with Target. I just didn't want to do it. So we could never get Red Wing through Target. So we don't like those types of exclusives through them. And the other thing that we really dislike about Target is their pre-order policy. If you pre-order from Target, they put a temporary hold on your debit card, which is not unusual for places to do that. But they then renew that hold for every few days. I think it's once a week, something like that, the entire time that the figure is on pre-order. They're the only site that I know that does anything like that. Pretty much everywhere else just charges you once the figure is actually come out, and it's not an actual charge, but it is that hold on your card week after week after week, and it's just pointless. Nobody does that. I don't know why Target chooses to do that. So we do not pre-order from Target just because it's unnecessary for them to do that. But again, we have found some figures in stock at Target that we may have missed out on otherwise. So some pros and cons. And that wraps things up. I hope this has been helpful. Tell me what else, where else you like to find figures. If there's any other sites similar to ToyHacks that have add-ons or stages or labels or anything else of that nature, I'd love to hear about them. Where did I miss? Are there things on here that you didn't know? Comment below. Let me know if you want me to do anything else similar in the future, or other things that I can provide any help or assistance on collecting figures. Thanks, and have a great one.